This system already prompting tornado warnings with more storms possible. How long the threats last tonight.
Then a rescue caught on camera. Hear from the hero who jumped into raging floodwaters to save a woman.
Days after an EF3 tornado swept through Rocky Mount, you can still see the debris and you can still see the destruction here. Coming up, the latest information that we know about the injuries and next steps for this community.
Thank you for joining us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Ashley Rowe. We have a lot to talk about in western North Carolina tonight.
I'm Dan Haggerty. At least 40 people are dead at the latest count in our state. Many others are missing or trapped with no access to water, electricity, or cell service. We have several stories to share from out west tonight.
And we have to look to our own backyard. We are keeping our eye on radar tonight. Kat, we saw a tornado warning out east today. Where are these storm cells going next?
Well, they're all moving to the east at about 20 miles per hour. The good news is a lot of anxiety in Rocky Mount due to the recent tornadoes. And there wasn't a tornado that ever touched down today out of that warning. Still some rain moving through the area right now. And the strongest storm is passing by Goldsboro and headed into eastern Wayne County. We are watching some storms that are moving through Sanford. We'll watch these as they pass just on the south side of Raleigh. We can't rule out a severe storm for a couple more hours, but we're almost done with the risk. As the sun sets, our level 1 threat should gradually come to a close. Over the next couple of hours, we are going to see rain chances start to taper off. By 10 o'clock, it's just a 30% chance of a shower, perhaps a rumble of thunder tonight as we continue to see low pressure sliding very slowly to the east. This is actually tied to what's left of Helene, much less powerful at this state as it moves to the east. But there's something else that we're watching in the Gulf of Mexico. The good news here is the chance of this developing is going down and the threat to North Carolina is certainly looking low. I'll have a much closer look at this coming up.
Kat, thank you. So it feels like every few minutes in our newsroom here, we're getting new videos showing the devastation as it continues to be revealed in western North Carolina. These just came in a few moments ago. On the right, this is a bird's eye view over the portion of I-40 that fell into the Pigeon River. Just an absolutely devastating image to see here. DOT still doesn't know how long it's going to take to fix it all.
Exactly. And on the left is the view over the Arts District in downtown Asheville. The buildings there have been effectively crumbled. Let's get you caught up on some other updates out of that region tonight. In the last 30 minutes, the state reported 2 correctional facilities had to be evacuated, one in Black Mountain, the other in Swannanoa. Those inmates are now at other prisons. At least 10 school districts are still closed through Friday, and more than 400,000 people across the state still do not have power.
WRAL's Eric Miller, live for us in Asheville tonight. He's near the Jeff Bowen Bridge. That's right near by the French Broad River. Eric, give us an idea of how things look in person there tonight.
Well, Dan, you look here behind me, you can see pieces of just about anything and everything that this river could have picked up here in Asheville thrown against the side of this bridge. Tonight, we've seen people picking through this rubble, but the search for food and water for many of these folks, one bit of good news today, it has gotten a little easier. In Asheville Monday, relief is going out one package at a time.
6 food right here.
Absolutely. Hundreds of drivers lining up at 4 distribution sites set up by Buncombe County.
I feel like it was a little bit slow, but I mean, it is a lot to try and organize.
Says Asheville resident Martha Hicks, the need is still huge.
No one has water on our street. It's been terrible. I mean, it's hard.
These are the first distribution sites set up by the county since the storm hit 4 days ago.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all are safe.
Volunteers like Haley Dixon thankful to be able to lend a hand.
We don't have water, but we're doing okay. We've got power and our house is safe. So, it's kind of like it's our job to kind of step up and help our neighbors.
All this coming as the federal and state governments truck in hundreds of thousands of pounds of supplies. But getting it to hungry residents like James Rivas remains a challenge.
I've just been, rationing it out best I could.
Now, I know that FEMA has set up 3 sites here in western North Carolina to provide food. Other communities, including Asheville itself here in Buncombe County and smaller communities around the mountains, they have been doing distributions as well. But this so balkanized, so many small distributions happening, it is so hard to get these to people who are still so isolated. In Asheville, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
All right, Eric, this is Brian Schrader in the WRAL Live Center. I know that a lot of people want to know about the smaller communities in the North Carolina mountains, transportation and communication problems, making that kind of tough. But I do have some new pictures and information between Boone and Asheville in Mitchell and Avery counties. First of all, a new picture out of Bakersville. This is from Jade Bush on Facebook. I have just checked in with the Mitchell County authorities. They say the National Guard is there delivering supplies and manpower, and local fire departments are conducting health and wellness checks. You can see a lot of damage there in Bakersville. Let's head over to Avery County. This is Newland, and you can see that the business area there on Pineola Street looks okay. Also in Avery County, the sheriff has posted this video. This is from yesterday as they were conducting rescues. They were able to rescue 32 people who had been trapped. You can see that those are some happy faces along with those pets there. And this is new video from the Heaton area of Avery County and some of that damage. I can tell you that Lees McRae College finished evacuating campus yesterday. They're going to be online through at least fall break.
Brian, that rescue image was a good one to see tonight. In the midst of devastation, a man's heroic actions saved a woman's life, and the entire thing was captured in this emotional video. Leslie and Phil Worth's home in Ashe County was swept away in the floodwaters. Do you see it there? Eddie Hunnell saw this unfolding and jumped into action. Literally, he got into the raging floodwaters, retrieved Leslie from the house, and brought her to safety.
Oh my God. Yell at her husband. Where is he? He should be over there. Yell at him that we got her.
They took this picture just minutes after the rescue. And just about an hour ago, WRAL spoke to Eddie Hunnell, who's from Holly Springs, by the way. He said he made a split-second decision and didn't fully comprehend what had happened until later that night.
When it was happening, I was trying to make a calculated risk. How do we save her? And I just did what I thought was the least risky thing to do to save her. It didn't really hit me until I laid down in bed that night and about had a panic attack.
Wow, you just spring into action. Incredible. We are going to hear much more from him tonight on WRAL News at 10 and 11 o'clock.
Hey, he risked his life. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. I mean, I can't wait to see the interview later tonight. So for the first time, we're getting a look at some of this up close and personal here. This is the damage after that EF3 tornado hit Rocky Mount on Friday. We know 14 buildings were damaged. 3 are a total loss. This same area, I could hardly believe it tonight when they got another scare today, when another tornado warning popped up just this afternoon. WRAL's Destiny Patterson was there reporting and had to take cover during the city's state of emergency.
This sea of bricks used to be a medical supply building. It's one of multiple that's considered a total loss here in Rocky Mount because of the debris that's scattered across the shopping center. Days later, business owners still don't have access. Barriers stand between Keisha Justice and her livelihood.
To see all of the yellow tape, to see the debris that is still here, it's still very... the feelings are still there.
The same feelings of devastation she felt just hours after this EF3 tornado barreled through Rocky Mount Friday.
All I heard was the sound or the howl.
Her building was one of more than a dozen damaged. City officials deem multiple a total loss.
We have been just looking at the structural stability.
Justice's business focuses on building up women fighting breast cancer, a mastectomy boutique.
In 2018, I lost my mom to breast cancer.
The place that honors her mother, now covered with wooden boards and a warning in red. Bricks and broken glass considered hazards by the city's plans examiner.
So once the debris is removed and it's no longer unsafe, the vehicles will also be removed, and then we will go unit by unit with the property owner and the business owners to make sure there are not any other issues.
City officials say some cleanup has to happen before Justice can see the damage up close.
Yep.
For now, she looks from afar, anxious to see what she can salvage, but thankful that she can rebuild. You can see the way this wood pierces this windshield here, and this isn't the only damaged vehicle. City officials say that once they clear this and the debris, they'll allow business owners back into the shopping center. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, Rocky Mount.
Boy, the folks in Rocky Mount really need to catch a break. And from eastern North Carolina to the west, one of the groups on the ground helping in western North Carolina is Samaritan's Purse. They know the area well. They're based in Boone. Up next, we speak live with the group's COO, Edward Graham, the son of Franklin Graham. He shares what it's like responding to a disaster in his backyard. Anytime there is large-scale suffering, be it an earthquake, a war, or a hurricane, among the many groups jumping into action to help is Samaritan's Purse. The organization, based in Boone, North Carolina, often travels thousands of miles to help people. This week, the suffering is in their backyard. Their famous truck full of supplies rolled out today, and they didn't have to go far. The group is responding to all across western North Carolina, as well as the places hit hard by Helene in Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida. Joining us live tonight is the Chief Operating Officer of Samaritan's Purse, Edward Graham, the son of Franklin Graham, the grandson of the late Pastor Billy Graham, grew up in the North Carolina mountains, lives there now with his family. Edward, really appreciate you joining us on what I know is a very busy day.
Yeah, Ashley, thanks for having us, and it has been busy. I just left a friend I grew up with right beside the ministry here. I was at his house earlier today. His wife works for us in our Operation Christmas Child, and his home was completely flooded in the bottom. So was his mother. She lost her bedroom, the house next door. And I grew up going to FCA at her house, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And this one's hard. We got a lot of staff that lost homes, but we're responding to our own staff and also getting out there with our volunteers. We had hundreds report to Boone to go out and start serving today, also in Asheville. And as you already mentioned, we're in Georgia and 2 locations in Florida due to this storm. So we're working. It's just, it hurts because this is home.
Yeah, how does this hit you personally? You're responding, as you said, to staff. This is happening in your backyard.
It is, but it's also, it's that much more special. Now this community gets to see what Samaritan's Purse and how God uses the resources and equipment to help others. And it's not just the regular disaster relief equipment we're used to after hurricanes, but it's also medical. We're set up here in Watauga County and in Avery with our medical equipment, where we're helping with oxygen tents, but we're setting up a Tier 1 hospital in Avery. We love people. We want to serve in the name of Jesus Christ, but when it truly is your next door neighbor, it is a little different. But I love the people of the mountains of North Carolina. People working to take care of each other, love one another. I've seen so much grace and service to one another. We're truly proud. I love being from Boone, and so it's good to be home after years in the military, but serving here.
Hey, I want to play a clip of a video that Samaritan's Purse posted online. It really hits at the heart of what folks are dealing with that you've been talking about. Let's watch.
The east coast of the United States just got decimated by Hurricane Helene, and normally up here in the mountains of North Carolina, we don't feel the effect. A lot of damaged homes. People have lost their lives here in this community in the high country.
Our community is set up for blizzards. We're not set up well for floods. And so it's really catastrophic damages.
The road that we're on here, it's bridges out on the other end, and our slide has got it blocked on this end. Those people, none of them can get out. There's probably, I would say, at least 50 homes or more in there. If you can help somebody, help them.
Edward, give us a sense of what people are feeling, what people are telling you.
Yeah, you saw that one guy, we need help. You mentioned Lee's McRae earlier. They called and asked for help, and we were using our helicopter to fly water in and to service the kids to keep food and water going there. But I called the National Guard, Major General Hunt, and he's been awesome. I was like, sir, this is a Guard mission. I need the Chinooks, the CH-47s, to bring this much food and water. Well, they one-upped it, and they evac everybody out. But we're also solving problems in other. I'm on the phone right before we came in here trying to get fuel and water to another location, an old folks home. And God's given us the resources and the connections to be able to respond. But This is such a huge travesty. I don't know. I mean, I appreciate people covering it, but in the mountains, when these floodwaters come in and they knock out all the communications and the bridges, it's not like when it floods somewhere out in Kansas, say, where it's a wide area, but the water is spread out. These were narrow channels that come down with such force. Entire cities and communities are gone forever, and the death toll is going to continue to climb. So we need people who want to volunteer and come out, but we need people for the long haul, not to get distracted, but for months from now, ready to come out and serve and volunteers in these communities and help them get back to a little bit of normalcy.
And we have to find those people that are trapped and help them get out as well. I know you're going to be working around the clock over the coming weeks. So Edward Graham, thank you so much again for joining us, and we're wishing you all the very best.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Kat?
And we continue to watch the radar here at home. We're not done with rain chances just yet, unfortunately. And I do have a new flood advisory to tell you about. This came out for Rocky Mount, Wilson, down into Goldsboro, and a sliver of Halifax County there. This will go to 11 o'clock tonight, 11:15, I should say. Keep in mind, a flood advisory is one tier below a flash flood warning. A flash flood warning is the more severe of the two. So this is a warning. Some local streams could rise, things like that, some areas on the roads that are more low lying. But let's take a look at Sanford. We've got some rain moving in there right now, some pretty heavy rain. That should push into the southern half of Wake County. We'll watch to see if this could arrive at North Raleigh, but it may just kind of split and go right around Raleigh. Looking ahead for the remainder of the evening, Futurecast shows the bulk of the thunderstorm activity to our east by 9 o'clock. I really think by 8 o'clock tonight. And then as we head into tonight, rain chances quickly taper off. Good news here, a sigh of relief. Over the next 5 days, we are not forecasting any heavy or flooding rain. The bulk of this rain that you're seeing here for that ½ an inch to an inch is the rain that we are seeing this evening and into tonight in the northeastern part of our state. For Raleigh, ½ an inch or less, and for Asheville, less than 1/10 of an inch of rain. Boone, less than a ½ an inch of rain. Still, they don't need any rain at all, but at least those numbers are staying on the pretty low side all throughout the week. 3 systems that are named in the tropics right now, all 3 of them do not pose a threat to the U.S. the way it looks now. We've got 2 others to watch. This one all the way on the other side of the ocean. We'll have a long time to watch it. This one, the chance of it developing actually going down some recently. It's a 40% chance of developing over the next week. Could reemerge in the Gulf of Mexico next week. However, the signs that we've seen are trending toward little to no impact for North Carolina. We'll watch this. We still have plenty of time, but this is next Monday. For the location, potentially would still be in the Gulf. So we're talking about a week from today. We could begin to see some development, about a 60% chance of that. And I will say most models really suppress that system farther to the south and don't have the moisture coming here. And you can see that as we move forward in time for the weekend. Here's the system still looking pretty disorganized, and it may try to cross over southern Florida, but we'll watch it. I just want to let you know, I know it can seem scary having another system originate in the Gulf of Mexico. At this point, it's not a huge concern for us, but we'll continue to monitor for it for you. Just no need to panic right now. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s to lower 80s through the work week, but once we get to the weekend, it's looking hot. Highs are back in the mid 80s, and it's going to be pretty humid over the next week as well.
Thank you, Kat. Let's empower each other to help our neighbors in Western North Carolina. There are groups all over our area doing something. So we answer the question, how can you help? In tonight's One Last Thing.
Our one last thing tonight is something many of you probably think when you see all of these videos out of Western North Carolina, right? We're all wondering, how can I help? The flooding, the lives destroyed, the homes, the roads, entire towns washed away. This hurricane was powerful, but we are not powerless.
Right. You may see the news, feel compelled to go west, to go out there yourself. Maybe not the best idea. I talked to the president of the Asheville Chamber of Commerce. Here was her advice.
I want to encourage people to stay off the roads as much as they possibly can. Number one, there's not gas to replace the gas in your car. Number two, and people who are coming in thinking that they're doing the best thing by coming in and looking for their friends and family, I really encourage you to look for other ways to do that through Buncombe County in particular, because the resources are so very slim. I don't want you to get stuck.
So what can you do? Obviously, we've been showing you this. There's a QR code on your screen. If you point your phone at that QR code, the link that comes up, go ahead and click that, and it'll give you a bunch of options that are out there. Kramer also suggests an email, HeleneDonations@buncombecounty.org. You can also ask about volunteering by messaging Helene Volunteers at buncombecounty.org.
And there are so many other ways to help. Chatham County Cares, the Durham Rescue Mission, the Wake Forest Fire Department, they're just among those collecting donated items. The Carolina Hurricanes, NC Courage, Carolina Panthers, all among the sports teams donating money.
No matter where you live in North Carolina, some group or some person out there is trying to help. We should point out that this, again, is not just for Asheville. It's not just for Boone. Denise wrote into WRAL saying everyone is reporting on Buncombe County. That's not the only place that's been devastated. There are people stuck all over the place with no access.
So here are the places out west that WRAL has reported on so far. There's an article with a map and full coverage from those locations on WRAL.com. Just search Helene to check that out. But Denise raises a great point. That still isn't everyone.
We want to know which places are we missing. Keep sending in those emails to WRAL. There are reported line. You can use Dan@WRAL.com. So many people do that for in-depth. We want your help. Scan that QR code. Let us know what we can do.
Our team will continue reporting on Western North Carolina. Thanks for joining us.